Welcome back to the Wet Mammal channel, guys. Today we're kicking off an awesome little top 10 roundup to celebrate 2022 stone shots. It's been a wicked year. I've spent plenty of time in the water, and yeah, time in the water and deadly accurate guns means lots of stone shots. So here's 10 of my favourite. We're kicking it off with the first one for the Japanese large-eyed brim. This spot is a particularly sharky spot. So I make my way down to the bottom, and basically, yeah, it's a slow descent to the bottom. I play what I call the dead ape, so I just make my way down really slow, and that just draws in a bit of attention and attraction from the fish. I get right onto the bottom, wait, and this guy comes in close enough for a beautiful shot, and they're a delicious eating fish. Highly recommend. Now, the benefits of getting a stone shot on a fish are plenty, but one of the biggest in sharky areas is there's no fight in the fish, so you can just head to the surface. Sharks often don't go for a stone shot fish.
Can you take off the spear in the boat? Because if there's, yeah,
next up is a Spanish mackerel. This is a real quick dive bomb onto it was the PB at the time. We were targeting dogtooth tuna, but when you get a shot like this present itself, you've just got to smack that fish and get lights out. Spanish mackerel, delicious eating fish, and yeah, had to make one of the top 10. I've stoned a few of these over the past year, but this is definitely the most deserving of the shot, as it was also a new PB of the mackerel at the time. Pretty solid fish, as you can see. I'm stoked. The midnight snapper makes it in at number 8. Now, I absolutely love diving this part of Fiji, and you've got to dive down deep to get to some of the drop-offs, but once you're down there, the amount of fish that hangs off the bottom, it varies between 30 to 40 meters off the bottom, but if you can get yourself down to like 15, 16 on this little edge, you can have a great time with some awesome fish. Here you can see I'm being really tactical, so I've got most of my body hidden behind the coral structure. I'm leaning over the edge and I'm a bit sprawled out. This is just a nice little white tip. Thank God it's not another big aggressive bull, which are coming on this reef. And it's basically just a game of eyes off with these fish. You want to keep your eyes off the fish as much as possible until the last minute. So even though I'm facing forward, I didn't have my eye on the fish until the last minute, and the fish just got himself into a perfect place where I was just able to plug the spear straight through him. Lights out, he didn't know anything else, and that's one of the best ways to get your dinner. I take the fish up to the surface, and you can see where the spears entered, and it was just a straight brain shot, straight for his head. Yeah. Quality eating fish as well. I highly recommend Midnight Snapper to anyone who hasn't had it. This is an Untitled Trevally, and the reason why this one gets onto the list is just because it was on a day where I hadn't had great success with my lungs and my diving, and yeah, I just had this little school of Untitled Trevally, and it was awesome being able to secure one for the bag, making it do that beautiful little turn on the stone shot, and lights out. Here we've got a Bluefin Trevally. So this one took a little bit of bottom time. I'm down at maybe 14-15 meters, not too deep, but deep enough that there's decent fish life. That's super common with most of Fiji where this fish was shot, so you do need to get down definitely past like 12 for stuff really to start coming to life in a lot of spots, but ideally you want to be around that 15-16 meter mark, and yeah, you'll encounter some awesome fish. You can see plenty going on, and when there's this much fish action, there just has to be a predator nearby. The fish were a bit flighty as well, which gave me an extra indication that there was something, that there would be a predator lurking nearby. It's just a game of patience at this point, and just looking around, continue to swoop. You could have a Spanish mackerel appear from behind you, or on this occasion I had the Bluefin Trevally come through. On a long shot. good night. Absolutely stoked with the accuracy on these roller guns. It's hilarious to hear people bag out roller guns in the spearfishing world as being inaccurate. They are incredibly accurate, and I challenge anyone to a target practice with me in a pool with a roller gun versus any other gun. Yeah, they shoot incredibly straight, and you can make shots like this at distance very often. So this clip actually comes from an island survival. I was on the 85 and encountered a large school of these largemouth mackerel. Line up a shot onto the school and take the shot, put its lights out. I then reload, and because of I'm feeding me and Divermon here, one fish definitely isn't going to be enough for the two of us to sustain us, so I make a dive again. This is all shot in one clip. I've just sped up the reload so you don't have to endure a minute of me reloading, but yeah, soon enough another fish lights out. Now it's really important to note that shooting fish in schools is a very hard thing. There's lots of distraction, but you can make it happen. This is a typical moo hunt, so down on the bottom, scratching up a bit of dead coral on another bit of dead coral and waiting to see what comes in. Now I can see the moo's already started to work his way through. I'm just waiting for him to get into distance. They're a very tricky fish to hunt, and sometimes they just don't come in, but he came in close enough that allowed me to line up my shot, give that extra little bit of inch of reach, and smack, lights out. Again, people who complain about the accuracy of rollers, I've got a question if you know what you're talking about. They're fantastic and pull off incredible shots like this on a delicious fish like a moo. Then we're on to the Brassy Trevally. This is from a recent trip up to Queensland, also known as a tea leaf trevally, and this guy just wrong place, wrong time, lined up perfectly, and yeah, I don't even think he had time to process what might have been. He was just lights out. It was almost like a bolt gun to the head with this fish, the way that the spear landed in him. Solid fish and makes excellent sashimi. I definitely recommend. Coming in at number 2 was the coral trout. I'd actually cut this clip down, so it started off with the double band being loaded, but as this was only a small coral trout, there was no need for the double bands, and I didn't just want to bury my spear into the reef, so I removed one of the bands to make it less powerful. But as you can tell, with the Aimrite double Vendetta roller 115, one band is more than enough, and I just stopped this fish in its tracks. Fantastic. I don't get it lodged into the rock too much, which is good. Bring her up to the surface. I'm stoked with that. Coral trout's a delicious eating fish, and yeah, it's actually, the closer you come to that legal size, the tastier it is. Then we're on to number 1, chosen as number 1 by myself just because of it was such an incredible feat. I was diving down and believe it or not, I'd seen this guy from the surface, and yeah, just obviously was taking a snooze or something, caught slacking, and I thought, right, I'm going to go down and ping this because this will be a PB definitely, over 20 kilo fish. And just as it wakes up, makes its move, I quickly readjust the gun, angle it slightly different, and place that shot straight into its head, pulling up 20 plus kilos of fish on a stone shot. Honestly, it's a feeling that very few people get to experience, and I'm incredibly stoked that I got to, and it's a delicious tasting fish as well. The meat on this thing was fantastic. Actually got shared around the village that I was close to staying by, and just amazing. So that was the boys from Salt Lake Lodge. Give them a quick shout out because they know their stuff. If you're going over to Fiji, definitely hit them up. It's yeah, smart blokes on smart fish. Lights out. Good night, guys. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know what you think was your number 1 stone shot. Did we both have the same one? Was it the Kawakawa at the end, or did you rate another stone shot higher? Stay tuned, stay wet, stay fed. Catch ya.